So we are now going to be exploring our line sheet. Now, if you're very new to the space of product sales and distribution, the term line sheet may actually be very new to you. But essentially, a line sheet is a oftentimes single page catalog of your offerings. And what it allows you to do is to quickly and professionally showcase your products to potential customers, which can include individuals or it can also include businesses such as um, supermarkets, boutiques, spas, salons, pharmacies, and distributors. So it really is a very quick and short, easy to consume, oftentimes 1 to 2 pages of what you offer. It can substitute as a brochure. And the reason why I think it's a great idea for brands, especially in the early days, to have something like this is because you can easily share this with even people in your network. So, friends and families who are likely to be your very first buyers, sharing something like this with them helps them to see very quickly what it is that you have to offer. If you don't yet have a website or if you don't have a social media page, it allows them to quickly see what you have and to place an order. So it's fairly straightforward to put together. Of course, we have provided a line sheet template. So you can go ahead, click on that, and then we will attempt to see how we could customize a line template to fit your brand. We're going to be using the case of the Skin Smith as an example again. So let's just have a hop over. So I've already opened up a copy of mine, but just for the purposes of this tutorial, I have gone ahead and I've created 2 additional labels for the jars. So I've just called them, we did the heel softening cream before, the dry skin salt scrub, and the hand softening moisturizer as options. And then I created some labels for bottles. So a feet cleanser, a hand soap, and a cooling massage gel, all of which are very useful if you're on your feet and using your hands all day. And then mock-up of I did a mock-up of the products just as a substitute for photographs. You can use mock-ups, but I would much prefer having high quality photos. I believe they're just more impactful. But mock-ups can work as well. So I've just done a quick mock-up of all 6 products, okay? Just so that it can fit into our 6 product line sheet. But it doesn't have to be 6. If you only have 2 products, you can delete what you don't need and just showcase your 2 products. If you have more, you can make them smaller to go ahead and showcase these. And in the next tutorial, I'll show you a full catalog that you can that has individual separate line sheets within it, so you can take other versions or variations of the line sheet if you have more products. Okay, so let's just have a quick attempt at customizing this line sheet. So it already looks great. I'm very happy with this as a base, but if you want to give it a little bit more uniqueness, you certainly can. I recommend strongly not going overboard with color, because particularly for business buyers, if you're selling wholesale or if you're thinking of consigning, uh, purchasing managers or shop managers will oftentimes print line sheets and they will issue them to other decision makers, and sometimes lots of ink just creates another barrier in the process. Okay, so something basic, not too much background. Your catalog will give you an opportunity to be a little bit more creative, so having something that's fairly simple, I believe, would be helpful. So the first thing I would recommend is to just go ahead and drop your images in. So at least that forms the base. So what I have done is that I've created hands products for hands and products for feet. And the products for hands are in green, the products for feet are in blue. You don't have to do this. I just did it So I thought it gave some variation to the design. Um, but certainly when you are designing for your products, you can decide whether you want to have different colors as you go through. Totally up to you. So I'll just go ahead and drop those in. Now, if you take photographs, Canva is very good at removing backgrounds. So you can get this kind of design. If you want to have something that has a little bit more design in it, let me see if I can find. You can, but as I said, I'm a little. I generally recommend just just using something with either a very pale background or a very or no background, just so that you aren't inundating your line sheet with lots of unnecessary elements, because the real focus is just a simple overview of what you have to offer. Okay, so let me just drag that down. I will once it gets in, so at least you could see what that could look like, just to give you an example. So you have the option of adding something that's a little bit more textured if you wish, or just going with something a little bit more basic. It's really totally up to you. I think it depends heavily on who will be receiving. I think if you're giving this to friends and family, maybe having something a little bit more textured would be better, right? Because that would probably might be more appealing to a customer, to an individual customer, versus a business buyer or a stockist would would be very used to a more basic catalog such as this. Okay, but I'm just gonna go ahead and stick uh to my basic catalog for now. Okay, so this kind of just forms the basis by putting the products in. Now I'm going to try to stick to a few elements that are unique to my style. So everything is justified right in all of my designs. So I'm gonna do that right throughout the line sheet. I'm gonna go ahead and run through the text and just justify everything right. So I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna do that. Okay, so all my text is right justified. So I've moved everything from left justified to right justified. Okay, so the next thing I will attempt to do, so I personally don't like, I'd prefer if everything were on the same level, and I'm also gonna have the bottles as well left justified, which might be a little weird, but I think it should be fine. So I'm just gonna get rid of that extra space at the bottom, and then I'm going to kind of ensure that the bottles and the jars are kind of on the same level. So if you imagine them on a table, they would be kind of on the same level, as opposed to these floating. And then I'll just put them there. Then I'm gonna do the same thing here. It's on the same level. Kind of left justified, right justified. It's a little strange, but I think it's fine. And it's really just to give it a slightly differentiated look and feel, something a little unique, a little bit memorable. Okay, so there we go, fairly straightforward. So the next thing I would do, I wouldn't, I would now kind of focus on the fonts, right? So these fonts are not our fonts. So that I would definitely change. So I would look to probably change all of these. Okay, let's look at if we were to change the item names to change it to DM sans serif and make them and we're gonna make them lowercase. Let's see. So this is a cooling massage gel. Cooling, oops, massage gel. And I'm gonna reduce the space because we can see that the spacing here is a bit much. It doesn't have to be that much. And then I'd probably increase the font size, you know, just so that it's a little bit more visible. So I'm gonna go ahead and change all of these. And then I will come right back. So I changed the fonts for those, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and change the paragraphs to Poppins, which is here. So that's fine. And then I'll change, I think, all of these to the subheading fonts. Those are fine. And then let's go back to the top. Let's change this one to our subheading font. And we can probably make this a little bigger. And then that will definitely change to we'll change to our heading font, and let's make it a little closer, and maybe we could make it a little bigger. Okay, so you know, it starts to all look the same. You know, maybe these we could make them a little, the line spacing could probably be a little smaller. It's closer. Okay. All right. This I would also change to our font. There we go. Maybe make this a little bigger. And since we do have a little bit of this dead space, I would just also pull everything up a little. Okay. All right. So I think this is definitely a good start. So we could think about how we could incorporate some color if you wish, but I think this would be perfectly fine. Maybe we could look at changing the background. I would not go with anything dark, only because again the printing becomes too much of a headache. It's gonna be dreadful to print something that's all in red or all in blue. So I would probably stick to, you know, the lighter colors in the back just to make it a little softer on the eyes. This would be perfectly fine with just a logo. So let me go to brand kit and let's just add one of the logos here. You could also think about adding a kind of the tagline as well, maybe at the bottom, just to, especially if you're very new and it's not terribly clear, that maybe just putting in maybe this very tagline here for hands and feet that work. So we could say natural products for hands and feet that work. Maybe even making it all caps. And putting it in our so we start to also, you know, by saying feet, it starts to make a better connection, I think, to the logo, right? Because it's not every day you see a bath and beauty product that has a boot in the logo, right? So I think this is great as is. We could replace this with one of the logos as well. just so that what you're doing is cementing in the reader's mind this logo, right? They won't forget it because you keep dropping it, every possible opportunity. You drop the logo. Now you could, attempt to add some color if you wish. If I were to add color, I probably would. Maybe that's a little smaller. A little closer. I would consider maybe something at the back here just to give the heading a little bit more attention. Layer send to back. And then, definitely looking at, making this white so that it does stand out with the the same look and feel here. Or you could, make it, you could look at even a gradient between these two colors. I don't know that that matters too much. Maybe definitely changing this logo out here just so that it looks, it looks a little bit more put together. You could also consider putting this very same let's see, this at the bottom just so that it's nice and complete. There we can look at making that white and then changing that logo out. Maybe we can do away with that at the bottom. Maybe we could do away with that. I don't know. Just, I think I much prefer the line here. Okay, and I think this is great, right? I think it's, it's eye-catching. It's definitely a conversation starter. You could look at putting in pops of red, maybe behind the names of the titles. But I think this is great, and it clearly captures a strong brand. If you wish, you could even think about putting like a watermark in the back, maybe a watermark of boots, or of a man at work, or something just to better connect. But it's really to get a conversation started. Your catalog will give you more of an option to do something a little bit more unique. But clearly, again, look at these two. This is where we started, and this is where we ended, right? So clearly, I'd say a well thought out approach to having a unique look and feel for your line sheet. Next, we will focus on the catalog.